Woohoo! You have a customer and they went through the checkout, they paid, and they're now expecting delivery on their products. How you handle this part of the process can determine whether they become a loyal brand ambassador or a beacon of angst, sending ripples of discontent across the land. Now remember, increasing customer retention by just 5% can increase your profits by 25 to 95%. Remember Valfredo, or as I know him, Villi Pareto? Born in France, he's actually Italian. He birthed the whole 80-20 rule, which says that 80% of your profits come from 20% of your customers. You heard about it in your highfalutin MBAs as the Pareto principle. The Pareto principle is what we're talking about here, and it's even higher in cross-border consumers. So, let's talk about some of the ways you can increase that retention, because that's really where you want to focus at the early stages and really throughout. Support. Customer support should be available at every stage of their journey, including after checkout and even after delivery. An FAQ can go a long way to help answer most of the visitors' questions. Having great product descriptions and clear shipping and return policies will also help. But eventually, you will need to offer a form of direct support. Here are 3 basic options available beyond email. These are phone, chat, and customer support software solutions. In deciding the best options, remember that besides the language barrier, there are also communication channel preferences and time zone differences. I mean, nobody wants to stay awake until the middle of the night to pay international long distance charges just to find out whether the t-shirt can fit grandpa. It doesn't. I can see it. Phone. Some companies will hire local agencies to answer the phone for them. These are a team that speaks the local language and that works the same time zone as your customers. Sounds easy. But to do it right, especially for complex products, you'll need to train them. And this option means you're entrusting your customer experience to someone you've probably never met, and you won't have much control over how things are done. And if the agency you hired is not doing a great job, you risk losing customers without even knowing it. Next, you have live chat, which is becoming extremely popular. According to Shopify, 79% of customers will prefer live chat over email for its speed and because, let's face it, people don't really like talking to each other. However, you will need someone who speaks the local language and is available during local business hours. Some companies use translation tools, which can be helpful for emails, but are often unreliable and end up frustrating customers. I'm one of them. For basic questions, a chatbot can help, but should not replace the possibility to speak or send messages directly to a human being. Customer support solutions. Third-party support solutions are great options, but they're not cheap. Zendesk, Intercom, Salesforce, HubSpot, and Gorgias all let you set up customer support in many languages, automate some parts of the process, and scale international support as organizations grow. They can also use data to help you understand what the stress points are. For example, if a third of the people contacting you have questions about the product sizes, it's likely you have to fix your sizing chart or product description. And returns. Returns. Now we jump to returns. I'm sorry. Let's get here. Returns. Let's just take a little bit of that out. Sorry. Returns are basically a reverse logistics process, and it should be more than just an afterthought. E-commerce returns have grown by over 94% in the last 5 years. While this number is lower for cross-border shoppers, their domestic expectations and habits are bleeding over to their international shopping experience. So here again, localization is key. Refunds must be executed in currency used for the purchase, and your inventory will need to be updated depending on where your product is. As for returns itself, you'll need to decide if you're covering the cost of shipping or not. If you're not, the process of shipping your product back should be as smooth as possible for the customer. Now, whether you decide to go with an express or a postal aggregator or any of the hybrid options, make sure you have enough drop box locations or shipping centers to accommodate people even in more remote areas. Check out one of the videos where I talk about a UK company selling to me in the US and the return process and the nightmare that I went through. Again, your customers are not going to be happy having to drive 90 minutes just to drop off a package. Also, not everybody owns a printer. I certainly do not. So that's why some companies choose to print the label themselves and send it along with the product in the first place. If you decide not to pay for returns, make sure your customer has all the information needed to ship it back to you and get a refund or exchange the product. And don't hesitate to look for partners. If you have physical shops or suppliers in the area. Maybe you could offer drop-off locations instead of having them ship it back to you. At the end, your goal is to make it as easy as possible for customers to send their products back to you because it's more likely that they will purchase again. So that's it, website localization. Take the quiz, see what you know, get that badge, and get out there and start selling. Stay local, go global. We'll see you soon.